guys, welcome to another session of Explore the Tarot. I actually pulled the cards for today and then my camera died, so I'm just starting off with showing you the cards that I pulled in the previous take. So for the tarot I got the Page of Cups, beautiful card. I just love this image from the Pagan Otherworlds tarot deck. And then from Kim Kranz's Archetypes deck, I got the Self. Another really beautiful image, and I think these two pair so well together, especially with that pearl in the middle of this card. Somehow that really speaks to the kind of watery element of this card here. So I'm going to read what Kim Kranz has to say about the Self, and then we'll see what connections we can draw between the two. The Self. The soul, the witness, the watcher. The self is the prism that allows the spectrum of our personalities to radiate. It does not judge, prohibit, suppress, or oppress any of its parts, as it lovingly knows that all aspects have a time and a place, and leads us to experience the full breadth of life's offerings. The self is the central abiding container, the awareness of the infinite universe of possibilities. When this card appears, it's a call to step back into witness consciousness, to observe yourself navigating the world. Ask yourself, am I the stew or am I the chef? In most situations, our ego draws us into the cauldron where we swirl, spin and smoulder in chaos. Yet the self is a graceful culinary dancer, watching, waiting, observing as the spectrum of ingredients become the flavour of our life. Look in the mirror for 30 seconds or more. Attempt to see the you behind the you. It's no surprise that two central mantras in the yoga tradition concern themselves with the self. Soham, which is I am that, and Satnam, true identity. If this card is perplexing for you, you are on the right track. It challenges us to expand our sense of identity beyond the little self, and the ego resists such movement. Witnessing, accepting new aspects of self. Okay, so for me, this card, the Self, is really talking about the part of us that can observe all aspects of who we are, rather than being entangled in our emotions or being entangled in whatever we're experiencing and fully identifying with just that one thing, which becomes a very narrow way of seeing the world, and it stops you from seeing all these other parts of who you are. So, you know, a good example of that might be if you're in an argument with your partner and, you know, you get really into the detail of why you're angry with them, the point that made you angry, you know, how you feel hurt or how you feel disrespected or not listened to, or, you know, whatever it is, and you're living fully in that, and when you do that, you kind of shut out all the other aspects of who you are when you're around this person, right? You become less connected to the love that you feel for them. You become less connected to all the complex aspects of who you get to be around them. And most of all, you kind of lose that sense of gratitude for them being in your life because you're just angry. And so coming back to the self in that situation is stepping out of your anger, being able to acknowledge that it's there and to witness it and say, I am feeling angry because this and this happened, but also, you know, I can step out of that and see the other person's perspective here because I love them and I respect them and I can see the bigger picture. So it's really a feeling of expanding your horizon so that you're not just looking at something really small and narrow. And that applies to how we connect with ourselves as well. So often we can we spend our lives working in a certain profession or doing things a certain way, and we kind of build this sense of identity around who we are. And when we do that, it kind of narrows down our focus, which can be a really great thing in some respects, but it also means that we might begin to fossilize, and we might begin to shut out all the other possibilities of who we are or who we could be, or just a sense of the fact that we don't have all the answers, and being open to this idea that there is more to us than meets the eye, that our self is this kind of infinitely creative being, and we are invited to step out of that at any given time, to try new things, to explore new ways of expressing ourselves, to explore new ways of expanding our horizon. This completely aligns with this card. I mean, the Page of Cups as a page, this card is really talking about learning a new language. It's about learning a new language for yourself. With the sea, I think that's such a wonderful allusion to this idea of a horizon and learning to expand your horizon in terms of how you understand yourself and yourself in relationship to others. The Page of Cups is also a card about learning new forms of creativity in order to express yourself. One quote that really comes to mind here is Sir Isaac Newton, who was obviously a very well-known scientist who elaborated on the laws of gravity. When he came to the end of his life, he said that he felt, and I'm paraphrasing, he felt as if he were a child, a little boy on a beach, looking at this beautiful shell that he'd found on the sand. All the while, unbeknownst to him, there was this wide, expansive ocean right behind him. And it's this idea that, often we do spend our lives focusing in on one thing, and we can become amazing at it and pioneers in that one thing, and it's incredible, and we can really lean into the beauty of our focus and our fascinations. But also there's really something to be said for acknowledging that there are so many aspects of us that we might never come to explore in this lifetime. And, there's this wide ocean of self kind of right behind us all the time. And, it's okay that we're not neat and packaged up in a box. Sometimes it's okay for us to be messy and to just explore the things that fascinate us without worrying too much about how we're fitting ourselves in, how we're going to be labelling this. This speaks on many different levels, and I think the creativity piece is a really important one. For me, I know, especially as I'm beginning to express my creativity in lots of different ways, it's really tempting to limit yourself and box yourself in and try to create a narrative about what you're doing and apply some logic to it. But actually that is limiting, and it cuts off so many aspects of who you are. Some questions to think about here are, how am I expressing myself? How do I creatively express who I am? Where am I learning new languages about expressing myself? Do I tend to get too involved in my day-to-day, emotions? Am I able to step out of that sometimes and just observe who I am on a much wider, expansive perspective? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again.